You have to be wondering, like me, why the issue of immigration, we can't get a handle on it. And in the 1940s, the soldiers left the United States, went to fight in Europe and the Far East, and there was a shortage of labor, and the U.S. imported Mexican labor in to do farm work, some factory work, and so forth. This was called the Bracero Program. After the war, there was a sort of work visa program that continued to this day. It's a kind of complex process, not very easy. It really doesn't work very well for things like agriculture. And today we see places like California, Alabama, and Georgia that actually cannot get enough field workers to harvest, particularly harvest the crops. And so, like in the Salinas Valley, there are instances where farmers have to plow the crops back under. A big concern in Georgia is since they passed immigration laws there that there would not be enough workers to pick the onions. Since probably the 60s, both parties have bickered back and forth over this, and the primary differences are the Democrats want to have some sort of path to citizenship, and the Republicans don't. There's also some controversy, some discussion over whether such work permits or visa programs would take away from jobs that Americans want. Obviously, Americans don't want farm worker jobs because in places like California, Alabama, and Georgia, there are no Americans willing to take those jobs. Another industry where I've seen in the past year or so, particularly in smaller towns throughout the country, is in the hospitality industry, which is restaurants and hotels. No one wants to work for minimum wage bussing tables, washing dishes, or cleaning rooms. And in many instances, the work either goes undone or in the smaller towns there's just not an available workforce. So how can this be done? The answer is fairly simple. To start with two words called work visa in the agriculture and hospitality industries, with no path toward citizenship, no path toward permanent residency, and simply pass laws that would enable a quicker, faster system and that would make it much easier so these workers could get permits, so they wouldn't have to swim the river or go across the desert. They could fill these positions that aren't being filled currently by Americans. And in say 2 years, this program could be reviewed, and at that point, possible path towards some sort of permanent residency, maybe not. It could be revised, it could be expanded, it could be retracted. This could also work through the Mexican consuls in Mexico, as well as through the U.S. State Department. Why can't this be done? It's certainly feasible, and certainly the technology is there. It would make much more sense to track people that are coming in and out across the country and to reduce the number of drownings and killings, and particularly the violence that's now occurred on the border with the immigrants crossing and getting kidnapped and then extorted. It's just an absolute mess. So it's two words: work visa. Put it in place right away. Hopefully there will be some politicians that will stand up and say, enough is enough. We need to do this. Makes no sense not to. And get it done.